No. That's not
Okay, I'll speak without the mic. I hope it's audible to everyone.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, so thank you, sir, for that wonderful encouragement, especially you spoke on greed and humanity. This question is, first of all, I would like to clarify, it's not about politics or political thing. Even though it is said by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, his last speech, these days we see that humanity is getting depleted, increasing. Even friends are becoming close due to certain political ideologies, maybe. I want to know your comments on this Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's quote that he says, Ramachandra Guha also tweeted about it. Bhakti in religion may be a road to the salvation of the soul. But in politics, bhakti or hero worship is a sure road to degradation and to eventual dictatorship. So maybe for the youngsters, what are your views or comments on it?
In a democracy, politics is absolutely necessary. Therefore, politics will have to continue if you want democracy, but there is no better administration than democracy. It is supposed to be people-friendly. At that point of time, when India became independent, people were invited to become politicians, represent parties, because all of them wanted to serve the people. They didn't come there to politics to make money in the sense like a profession, getting salary. Till 1970, no elected person had 1 rupee also as salary. They were paid transportation from their place of residence to place where the assembly used to meet or parliament used to meet. They were given rooms to stay there free, and they were given subsidized food. And the parliament or the assembly normally meets maximum of 100 days out of 365 days. Therefore, politics was a service at that point of time. Today, over the decades, the elected representatives get salary in lakhs, not only for 100 days, but for 12 months in a year, as if they are working there all the time and all. Not only salary, over and above that, they get sitting fees if they go and sit in the parliament. They are not supposed to do any other business except go for parliament for 100 days in a year and express their views about various problems the country faces and all. For that you get a salary for every month, and when you go and sit in the parliament or the assembly, you get sitting fees also. I was a government servant, like this people, public servant, but I didn't get sitting fees when I went to office. I just got my salary. Why are these people getting sitting fees also? And not only that, for 5 years, out of the 100 days, they don't even sit for 10 days. They protest, they walk out and do everything and all. But still, the salary as well as the thing, then they get constituency allowances and all other allowances and things. This is the position that the society has changed, or made a mistake. People who are supposed to serve the people are paid for that. Obviously, it is so much compared to any other paid post. Judges resign and come and contest elections. IAS, IPS people resign and come and contest elections. What for? Because that's an avenue to make huge money. That's the whole thing to do. Please read the statistics in the papers and know how many days, how many people attended the parliament or the assembly. Bills are passed without any discussion because there is no opposition. Opposition walks out. So is it really a true democracy? Is it what Baba Sahib Ambedkar thought of? They wanted people who are committed to the development and not people only to come there as professionals and making money. My dear students, get into politics, but to serve the nation, not serve yourself. If you want democracy, it must have politics, and if you want politics, come and serve and be happy with what it gives you legitimately. Right? Get the salary, get the pension, all right. But do your duty. It is not the same democracy what people thought it was or should be. The definition of democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. It is people-centric. But is it people-centric today? When you go in the streets, suddenly sometimes you are stopped. Why? The VIP is going. Are we not equal? Do they pay for the car? Do they pay the driver's fees? Did they purchase the car? Everything is of the government, which means we have paid for it. And we are made to stop because zero traffic they are going. There are VIPs who got 15, 16 cars following them, ahead of them. Where is democracy? Are you and I equal to the other people who are got a gunman in front, gunman in the sides, and gunman at the back? This is not what the constitution, people who were involved in the drafting of constitution expected it to be, because they wanted them to be earning their money somewhere else. It's only 100 days in a year they were to work. But things have changed, and changed not for good. I want you all to think about it, and if you are satisfied with what salary is, which is more than Supreme Court judges, you can make this. Come, but do service to the nation, not to yourself. Then democracy will be the true form of governance, not otherwise.
You can continue.
Why? That lady was coming to us. He didn't participate later also. Sit down there. It's okay.
Sir, I would like to thank you for your valuable time. We are indeed inspired by your presence and very lucky to have you with us today. My question to you, like Sir said that we could ask about your childhood. So I wanted to know how different was the nature, the climate during your childhood compared to what we are facing today.
Climate in the sense what the climate or weather you're talking
The
about?
nature, how it used to be.
Well, those are the days when from April end, if the monsoon started, it went on till July, August, and there were days when schools were closed because of heavy rains and things. And every school and college was prepared for such monsoon thing. Then came a short period of winter. I'm talking about Bangalore rather, which I spent my schooling days. Winter was maybe a thin sweater, not otherwise anything. Then came summer. Now it was quite opposed to the rainy days and winter and all. So hot, we never had fans even in the house or anything, because that was a sign of luxury in those days. And of course, no air conditions there, But our time was spent in education, studies and sports. So that kept us busy. We didn't bother about however hot it was, we went and played. I used to play cricket, hockey for the school, So we were not really bothered about other things. We were not bothered about politics. We were not bothered about what's happening in the neighborhood or illegal activities or something. We were on our own. And the school would start at 10 o'clock. We leave the house by 8:15 after breakfast, and there's a break for lunch, and we used to come home because our house was quite close to the school. Then back to the school in the afternoon, thereafter the sports time, from 4:30 to 6:30. There was sunlight even at that point of time. That was good. Not worried about anything. There was no television, of course. There was a radio was there, and the All India Radio was the only station which used to broadcast news and some music or something. But evening, at least 1 or 2 hours, we were compulsorily need to sit and study for the next day's exam. So such was the thing. We were not worried about either the weather or corruption or this and that. We were on our own. Good life was nice. I wish I can go back to that life.
Really nice to hear your childhood, how it used to be from you, sir. Thank you so much. Over to you first.
So this question is because I believe youngsters play a very crucial role in the development of our country, any country. When I see India and even other countries who got independence during that same time, around more or less, India has done a lot of progress, maybe because of enthusiastic youngsters at that time. This question comes because 4 years ago in my church I was having a dialogue with our youth on a very important topic. I don't remember exactly that topic, might be NRC or CC, I think 2-3 years ago. So they were completely unaware about it. So this question is, can you just enlighten how important this reading and critically analyzing and evaluating things is important for the reading, the habit of reading and critically analyzing any topic as such?
Education doesn't mean which you acquire in the schools or colleges only. That is only a part of it. Now, to acquire education also, it is not sufficient that in the school you listen to the master, he explains the subject to you and you do understand but not fully. If you really want to become an expert in a particular subject, your personal effect is the most important thing. That you study more, look into textbooks, available material, that to today with the modern things, you know, you got all this information available in most of the services available in cell phone and other things. You know. But a study is a continuing process till you die. It doesn't stop with what your parents told you, which according to some people it is the first school in your life, you know. And it doesn't stop with whatever studies you ultimately get a degree. It is forever continuing, therefore you must have that attitude of reading. Now I was a lawyer, so I had to read a lot. Every case I had to read before I go and argue the matter before the judge. That is the life which every one of you should read whenever you get some time. Keep some time in a day for reading something which is worth to improve your knowledge. It could be the information that you get from the media, or to discuss that, what should be your views. We may not agree with that, you know, what your views are and all. So that you will know that in a situation that arises, you can contribute to the subject because you have read it from outside. Reading is one of the best habits according to me. If not, it's the most important habit according to me. Therefore, reading you must continue even after the thing. Even during studies, not only what the teacher told you, try to make a little research, not scientific research I'm sorry, but some research on the subject, which access to which is now available to you all.
Thank you, sir. It's been an honor to be with you. I've been a great admirer of your work and the values you hold. Thanks, sir.
Good afternoon.
This is really actually written that I'm sitting right next to you. I always saw Genesis on
You
podium.
believe in reality.
Yes.
This is real. So it is reality.
Sir, I have a question. Like when my sister joined law, like she's pursuing law, one of her batchmates asked the principal, like in case we fight for fight in favor of criminal, isn't it like getting injustice? Then,
No.
and they were like, you joined the wrong college, so go and join some nursing courses. What is your opinion on that?
So first of all, let me make this clear. A man commits mistake if he violates the law. Maybe because he does something which you don't like, that doesn't become an offense. And for a person to be convicted, the offense alleged against him should be proved beyond reasonable doubt. Therefore, somebody appearing for a person who has committed a drastic crime doesn't commit any mistake. He is only trying to show to the court that even if there is a possibility that this person has committed crime, that is not proved beyond reasonable doubt. That is the duty of the lawyer. But he should not make false case to defend it. He must argue the case of an accused within the four corners of law, which gives enough elbow room for a lawyer to create a doubt in the mind of the court that he might not have committed a crime. There is nothing wrong in the lawyer doing that because he is protecting the right of the person. The law says it should be proved beyond reasonable doubt. That is the jurisprudence. Therefore, there is nothing wrong with that. What's the next question?
So what if it's a rape case and it's true, but still they don't get punished?
No, but then the other side, which is arguing for conviction, he must prove to the court, no, that man is wrong. There's beyond reasonable doubt it has happened. See, there is a possibility of consensual sex. There is a possibility of that incident not taking place, that the person might want to implicate somebody. I'm talking about a convict, I'm not saying it's always right and all, but that is the law. Otherwise, what we do in the King's Day, we used to think, oh yes, he must have done it, I have heard about him and all, and convict him. A lot of innocent people have been convicted like that. So that is why law is laid down that it may be true that a convict who has committed the crime is being acquitted, but that is because of the fact the evidence against him is not beyond doubt. That's the only doubt. Of course, in India today, what has happened is conviction rate is hardly 29%. The rest of them are acquitted with the thing. So maybe it might require some change and maybe put the accused on proving that he is innocent. Now the prosecution should prove that he is innocent, not guilty. Then if you put the burden on the accused, maybe that's one way of looking at it.
But so these public prosecutors are corrupted.
Who isn't corrupt? Even judges are corrupt. Even judges are corrupt. Even politicians are corrupt. Even professionals are corrupt. You name a profession, I'll show you there is corruption there. That is the problem. You got to make people understand that your happiness in life is not the only happiness, that somebody else's happiness is also in the same. That is why you got to fight for justice as law provides. Or change the law. It's not easy because that is the international standard now. Proving an innocent person, that a person is guilty beyond reasonable doubt. But then unfortunately it is misused also, but there is nothing that is not being misused in this country. Welcome.
Hi sir. First of all, I would like to thank our management for arranging this opportunity to interact with the sir. So my question is, it's a common thought that if the case appears to the Supreme Court, it will take at least 10 years or 5 years for the justice to be served. And I want to know your comments on why it is taking so much time in India, Indian judicial system, rather than in any other country. On if there is any chance that justice might be served within a short period of time, like say a few months or maybe a year. I would like to know your comments on that, sir.
See, today's problem of delay in justice system is because of the overloading of cases in the institutions, and also number of fora that is there to fight. After the first court, you go to the second court, the third court, the fourth court, and fifth court. Like that, we have civil judge, district judge, high court, supreme court. That has created a major problem in this country. We have followed the British system, where British population was very little, so they had multiple fora to find out the truth. If one person might have made a mistake, you go to the second court, and if that person also could have made a mistake, you go to the third court, like that to the fourth court. Whereas in the United States, it is a much bigger country. Understanding the problems of having fora like this, forums like this, they have only two courts. first court and the second court. There is no third and fourth court. The American Supreme Court or American High Court does not have the power of jurisdiction to entertain any other cases. They have been given specifically. For example, the American Supreme Court hears only cases requiring interpretation of the American Constitution. No other case it can hear. No criminal case, no civil case, nothing it can hear. And similarly, there is one fora after the trial court, and that's the end of the matter. And if you misuse it by saying, oh, I'll take a chance, I may win in that court and all, then you are fined heavily if you lose in the second court, discouraging people to come to what is called speculative litigation. But in India, very unfortunately, by the Britishers were there, you have, as I said, the trial court, first appeal court, second appeal court, high court, supreme court, which the people are taking advantage. Just to give them two examples I'll give you. One is a person borrows money. Say from today. Today the interest rate is say about 18%, let's take it for argument's sake. He loses the case after about 10 years because that many cases are pending in the first court. He goes to the second court. Then there is a principle normally what is called status quo. Whatever was prevailing in the trial court should prevail in the first appeal court also. So there he gets a stay order. He goes on for another 10 years, 20 years. By that time, the interest would have gone from 20 to 40% or 40%, but he can give, the judges can award only that much interest which was agreed between the parties. Now he loses the second court, he goes to the third court, maybe high court at that point. There the judges have discretion not to be able to stay or grant stay, but normally say let us continue the status quo without even understanding the problem of the man who filed the case. So it goes on like that. Ultimately, when the case is lost there, he will only lose at the interest rate of 15 or 18%, whatever the agreed price is. So there is a social thinking says, Hegde sota sota sakta. So that is the principle in today's litigation system and all. Therefore, we must have only two courts.
So do you think that there should be change?
That there should be a move and try to convince the lawyers also that you can't have money at the cost of the litigation. Now I am told in commercial cities like Delhi and Calcutta, Bombay and all, underground people are taking over justice delivery system. They go to one of the parties, say you want the matter to be finally settled. He said, yeah, give me so much money. It could be any amount, but then it's one time payment only. You know, different folks, different lawyers, then you go to the opposite side. Say, hey, agree with him. Otherwise you kidnap your daughter, murder your son. That is starting now. That is what the profession should understand. And I think there is enough place for all lawyers who are coming out also because the litigation also increased earlier in 50s and 40s and 50s. There was only criminal and civil litigation. Now there are taxation, in taxation you have sales tax matters, you have direct tax, you have indirect tax, you have income tax, customs. So many matters in one subject. So lawyers can become experts in all these subjects and all, their income will not be anyway affected. But the future of the law profession will continue if we make this change. We've got to have a system by which maximum, as you said, the first court should decide within 1 year, the appeal court should decide within 6 months. My father was also a Supreme Court judge. And at that point of time, there were 9 judges in the Supreme Court. And the intake every year was about 200 cases. Today, there are 34 judges in the Supreme Court, and incoming cases are 2.5 lakhs. Nobody can decide it. We have to bring a change. It might sound drastic, but two courts are more than enough. How do you know Supreme Court does the justice? Then there should be another appeal for after that, if you have suspicion in mind all the time. Have one judge, one court, once maybe he has got some doubt and also another court. But they should be strict on the question of deciding the matter early, finishing. That is an absolute necessity, otherwise the entire judicial system will collapse.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So you have mentioned some of the problems like greed, corruption in Indian society. So whose fault you people or politicians?
Politicians are also people, but I have my own opinion about the present day. Most of the politicians, not all, their greed affects a larger section of people as compared to your greed and my greed. That will only affect a small group of people. Therefore, greed, the integration of contentment in higher posts like politics and administration, things like IAS, KAS and others, is more important than an ordinary man's greed. Because the opportunity for them to commit a crime is more, whereas a single individual's chances of committing crime is limited. Therefore, I think there should be a social change, and best of the change would be the attitude of the society of boycotting people who things etc. So it should not take the decision on its own, but some other forum takes a decision. For example, the first court finds a person guilty of a crime. Then it should communicate in the sense, I know society is an inanimate body, but if the thinking is there, whatever the social thinking is, the people want to go along with that. So in the olden days, the society punished the criminals or who made mistakes. That attitude comes back. Then I think less number of people will involve themselves because it is a shame for not only for himself, for his family also. When he is boycotted, the entire family is boycotted. See? So that attitude, if you could develop in the larger thing, I think it will be very good. But everybody's cooperation should be there. I know this change won't come during my lifetime. But you understand, if the change doesn't come in your lifetime, it will be much worse than what it is today. Therefore, for your future, you have to bring the change. Of course, the transitive period is very difficult, but you have to make that sacrifice. Sacrifice in the sense not committing suicide and other things. I'm only saying inculcate true values and follow it. Not keep it in the storeroom. That will make a drastic change according to me, and that's for your sake. I believe that I must try and not wait for results. That's why I'm doing it. I've seen it. I've seen the sufferings of the people. Imagine, I'll show you the photograph. Because you can see this was after she was operated. This is a 6-month-old child. The child is 6 months old. We brought it to the factory. These are the parents and myself and this is the whole child. This is 16-year-old. Well, if you can see, 16-year-old girl. What would have been not great if you had to wear a bag and go home. This was when she was brought to my house. This is my mother. I gave her the result. So we brought her to my house.
I will ask you, sir, that photo and I will share with you.
Happiness you get when you see a child, she's perfectly alright. Who would have married her? How would have days and without life without it? I mean, this must be happening thousands of people currently, boys also. But one thing gives me at least happiness. That is the happiness that you will get when you do something for somebody who can't get basic life results. I'm feeling it, but contra, let me give you an example. In 2012, after I retired, then my 28-year-old person called Harish Nanjappa, he was riding a motorcycle on the outskirts of Bangalore. A punctured wheel of a lorry climbs over in the backside and it breaks his body into two pieces. At about 8 o'clock in the night, in a very busy street. There were hundreds of people who were surrounding him. And he was alive. He asked for some little water. Nobody gave. Everybody was taking pictures, movies, and everything. Nobody gave one little bit of water. The ambulance came. The staff of the ambulance picked two pieces of body and put it in the ambulance. He was still alive. He told them, please tell the doctor to donate my eyes. Look at it. This is not again a made-up story. The ZTV gave his mother a posthumous award and they invited me to give that award. Look at that man. He was not shouting at the driver. He was not complaining that he was on the right side, he was on the other man was on the wrong side or anything. And then look at these people who were there. They saw him. Two pieces of body, one piece is talking. That shouldn't happen to anybody. But look at the example of people who believe in humanism. This should be what little you can do. Just for example, you just see an old lady or a old person trying to cross the road. You're not able to cross the road. Just give him a hand and take him across. And feel how happy you will be with this. Small things which you can afford to do without hurting yourself. There are many things out there. But unfortunately, we are so self-centered. We don't bother about anybody's problem. It happens. He is destined to die like that. This is our attitude today. That's why two things. One is self-acquired contentment in life. The other brings about a change in the society is humans. That lady who came with the postman's problem, I could have also said, I'm sorry, I have no jurisdiction. You go to that big officer there, or you go to court of law. Is it practical for that lady to go here? That's why this post was created in 1984 in Karnataka. Because the recommendation was made in 1972 by the Administrative Reforms Commission that you should create an independent body which is people-friendly and title it as Lok Ayukta. Lok means people. Ayukta means commissioner. So he could hear from the party directly the problems, which will make him understand much more than reading it in an application or a petition. But cleverly, then the government got a person from Punjab. I'm not saying I married a Punjabi, so they got a person from Punjab. He did not know Kannada. He was a judge of the Supreme Court. He said, no, don't come here. Go to that officer. He will write down everything and he'll give a identity and let me know. But what's the use? If you hear a person from the mouth of that person, the problem that the person faces, you can do more justice than asking somebody else to listen to it and solve the problem. That should be the attitude of every public servant. If somebody comes to you, makes out a case of suffering, then you should go out and help him. That's why salary is paid to these people. Lokayukta had only two powers. One is giving redressal to the problem arising from administration. The other is fighting corruption through Lokayukta police. But when Venkatachala came, till then nobody knew there was an institution called Lokayukta. He showed it to the people. After his 5 years, I came. I did something of my own. but people were happy. How many times we have intervened in people's cause? We used to just take the phone and bring him up, okay, then somebody come here and this is the problem. If it is not solved, just see what will happen. That will be solved within a minute. Otherwise, hand is stretched. This is a society. Just imagine an auto rickshaw driver. How much does he have? He stopped. Unnecessarily he stopped. Hey, pay so much, otherwise I book you. You want a Kata certificate? Ask somebody who is in agriculture how long it takes. Nowadays, without recommendation from MLA or MLC, nothing ever happens. And who are they? They don't do it free. This is the problem which is faced by majority of the people in this country. Somebody should change it. That somebody will lead it.
This is the last question. Yeah, that might be good. Then you will have a group photo with sir. Yeah, two.
Sir, namaste. I actually had two questions. They are saying one question. Please, I would like to ask two questions. But
We'll make it half an hour.
yeah. First question is, in the name of development, the government is destroying the nature, and it's done by scholars, government, and engineers. But before executing that, or starting that project, aren't they aware of that what are the consequences of that project, or what are the effects of that project? If yes, why would they continue that? If not, why would they plan, or what are the consequences? Why would they check before starting that project?
In the system, government system, before you start a project report has to be made. And see whether that report suits the purpose for which that project is being made. That is how the thing starts. And the quality of work, what type of material should be used, how the construction should be done, physical work part of it, are all planned. And a cost is estimated for all these things. And ultimately, it is put to auction for anybody who is willing to do it at the least price to release the contract. But then look at his capacity to do also everything. But the whole system is changed now. The project is made for the benefit of few people, not for all concerned. Project cost is decided. In that, before allotting to the least person, kickback is taken. So, cost becomes more. Then the man who pays and takes the contract, he also wants to make money. He has already paid certain share. So how does he make money? Quality of work is reduced. He saves on the quality, the material that is used, how much it should be used, the quality of the material, all gets reduced. So between themselves, they make money. And when it comes to the usage part of it, it's practically of no use. It's made and kept like that. There are roads which are created. Normally roads are created not for 10 years, 20 years, at least 50 years they assess the traffic road and all. And then they pay for it. But in reality, that is no one will last for 10 years. I can tell you, in Bangalore there is a Hebbal flyover, which I think we concluded when I was a road actor, maybe 2007 or something. We are in 2024 now. It's already become different. This is the way. You take, otherwise the roads built by Britishers are still good enough. The bridge built in Ullal is by the Britishers how many years back? Whereas in Gujarat, I was telling you the example of a bridge. One half is built, the other one went off, collapsed. In Goa also, the bridge collapsed. I mean, it's happening all over the place. Therefore, all because of the greed of the people who are taking the decision on behalf of the people. Therefore, there is no missing. According to me, practically 90% of the contract goes to this.
Sir, any question? Please, please last question. ಸರ್ ಈಗ ಒಬ್ಬ ಯಾವುದೇ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ತಾನು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ ಆಗಬೇಕಂತ ಬಯಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ರಿಕ್ರೂಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ಲರ್ಕ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಗೌರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಆತನಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಲೈಕ್ ಏನು ಇಂಥ ರಾಬರಿ ಅದೇ ಒಬ್ಬ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಷಿಯನ್ಗೆ ಏನೇ ಒಂದು ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಥವಾ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು ಬಿಹಾರ್ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅವರು CM ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು CM ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ DCM ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗಿದೆ ತಮಿಳುನಾಡಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಬಿಹಾರಲ್ಲೂ ಆಗಿದೆ ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಇಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಯಾಕಿದೆ ಜನರಲ್ಲಿ I want to know what's your perception on that.
I'll perception later. First, let me tell you the law. According to the election law, any person who is punished for an offence punishable more than 2 years or more is disqualified from becoming a elected representative. Or if he commits a crime and is convicted when he is an elected person, he gets disqualified from that day also. That is 2 years more because sometimes motor vehicle violation is going to punishment so they should not be disqualified. You are correct, correct. ಪ್ರತಿ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ 30-35% ಜನರ ಅಸೆಂಬ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. But there is no law which disqualifies a person when the matter is pending. Consequently, these people, even though the same matter is pending and not, they can be elected. Only conviction are then must be elected. That's the law. According to me, you can't make a person disqualified when the case is pending and all. Because Sulu case after the case is made for therefore it prevents you from becoming an elected representative. But conviction is correct. But the selecting people, that is the party concerned. You are jail go to Bandhan and Henman put there. Yaar kodalla. But you are put there case pending is there. So therefore the society should recognize such people as people who are not qualified for anything, keep them away. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸಮಾಜದಲ್ಲಿ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದವರಿಗೆ ಗೌರವ ಸಿಗಬಹುದು. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಖ್ಯ ಪಾತ್ರ ನಮ್ಮದು. ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿ ಮತ ಹಾಕೋದು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮತ ಹಾಕ್ತೇವಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲೊಂದು ನೋಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಹಾಕೋದು? ನಾನು ಇವಾಗ 3 ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ನನ್ನದೇ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ನಾನು ಭಾಳ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಭಾಳ ಹತ್ತಿರದಿಂದ ಕಂಡವನು. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಪ್ರಜಾಪ್ರಭುತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿ ರಾಜಕೀಯದ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಆದರೆ ಇಂಥ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಮತ ಹಾಕಿ ಹೋಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಚುನಾವಣೆ ಮತದಾನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೇನೆ, ಮತಗಟ್ಟೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾನು ಆ ಸೀಸನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವಂಥ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾರು ಉತ್ತಮ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದು ಯಾರು ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಲಾ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ becoming little out of the Thank you.